What's up, bitches?
Let's talk about crime.
What's up, bitches?
Hello.
I'm going to be super honest right now and tell y'all that I'm sitting in my pajamas. I am sitting in my pajamas right now because we are recording this in the morning, which we normally do not do. And I didn't feel like getting dressed yet. So you're welcome. And Sierra's wearing a Grinch sweatshirt.
I'm also basically wearing fucking pajamas.
She is. She's wearing like a Grinch sweatshirt and some sweats.
Okay, this morning I had the same sweatshirt on and Disney shorts because that's what I slept in, and then I had to get out of the house, so I fucking put sweatpants.
She had to get out of the house. She had to get out of the house just to come over here to record because she's got some plans this weekend, and then we're going to Disney next weekend, so we're doing a bunch of recording and stuff. That's what we're doing. Other than that, we don't have too much stuff to talk about. So I guess this episode might be kind of little. It might be a little bittle, which is fine because some of our other ones are long. This one might be little. We'll chit chat enough to make it long. Anyways, if you don't remember from last episode, we are focusing on things that happened on Christmas, either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And I've changed it, by the way. I think the last episode we do of the month is going to be something on New Year's. Doesn't that make more sense? Since New Year's is the last time.
That would make sense.
Okay, so we're just going to get right into this. I promise you will actually like this one. I'm not lying. Because what are we talking about today? We are talking about the year 2008. Cheers.
Wow.
That's newer. That's okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you saying 2008?
I mean, like nowadays, 2008 is like also kind of getting old.
Okay, but by the standards of what we're taught when we talk about these things, 2008 seems good. Okay, so we're talking about 2008. We're talking about Los Angeles, California, and we are talking about a man named Bruce Pardo who murders 9 people while in their home. Dun, dun, dun.
9 people?
9 people.
That's crazy.
This is deemed the Covina Massacre. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Bruce, and then we're going to kind of just go on. So, Bruce Jeffrey Pardo was born March 23rd, 1963. He lived in San Fernando Valley. He graduated from John H. Francis Polytechnic High School in Sun Valley, Los Angeles. And he also graduated from California State University, Northridge. So, doing the thing, I guess. He worked at a jet propulsion laboratory in La Canada, Flint Ridge. Now, in 2004, I know nothing about his childhood. Nothing about his livelihood, nothing. That's all I know about this little bit. Now, in 2004, he meets a woman named Sylvia Ortega, and the two get married in 2006. And it is reported that fairly quickly after they get married, things get pretty rocky. They're a little bumpy. It is reported that Bruce was a narcissist, and he controlled all of their finances, to the point where it is said that one of their issues was that Bruce refused to have a shared bank account with Sylvia, which I'm going to be very honest right now and tell everybody. And I know the bank account thing is that's a highly debated thing. I've met quite a few people who don't want to have shared bank accounts with their spouses. I am so much against that. I have shared a bank account with my husband since I was 18 years old. And part of the reason I'm against that is because I feel like when you don't have shared bank accounts, that is just cheaters waiting to happen. And you have no accountability of where their money is going or your money or whatever. So shared bank accounts make the most sense because when you get married.
Oh, and I'm sure that sounds weird, but they've been married since they were 19 years old.
Yeah.
So just like, because I was thinking about that and I was like, people were probably like 18. You guys were probably
when I got pregnant with Sierra that's basically the day that we decided we were going to share a bank account, which I know sounds crazy, but it was like at that time I had a bank account. My husband, Jay, if you've listened to Fatal Blend, he's the one that does Fatal Blend with me. He did not have a bank account. And so I went to the bank and added him to my bank account, and he was working, I was working, and we just put all of our money together. And since that day, we have always shared our income, always. And the other thing that you have to think about when it comes to that is bills have to be paid. Now, there are people who have separate bank accounts and then one shared where the money goes in for bills. And you know what? If that's what you want to do, that's fine. Like that to me is like a good compromise to wanting to have your own bank account. I think there needs to always be a shared bank account because when you get married, your bills are shared. You know, if you buy a house, typically both of your names are on it. If you buy cars, typically both of your names are on it. Not in my life, but you know, normal people, I don't want my name on shit. So I choose not to have my name. My husband has all the things. And that's by my choice, not his. I actually took myself off of the house and I refuse to go buy cars with him. I make him do all of it. That way, also, if I ever want to just leave, I can bounce and it's fine. Yeah, I just think that if I were to be married to somebody and they refuse to share a bank account with me, I think I would have an issue with that. That would be a big problem for me. The other thing is when they got married, Sylvia had 3 children. And Bruce supposedly said, also, you're responsible for all the finances of your 3 children, and I'm not going to have anything to do with that. And again, if you're marrying somebody who has children, those children become your stepchildren. And while you're not legally necessarily responsible for them, the right thing to do is to pick up your big boy goddamn pants and help with the kids. That's like your partners. That's what marriage is all about, is being partners with somebody. It should never be.
It's a partnership. It's not a one-sided.
It absolutely is. And if you're not in a marriage where you feel like the person you're married to is your partner, and if you're not in a relationship where you feel like the person that you're married to you want to hang out with all the time, you probably shouldn't be married to that person. Anyways.
Listen, Therapy Sierra understands that you can't spend every single waking moment 24/7 with your partner, even if you want to. However, you should want to see your partner. You should get excited to see your partner. You should want to spend time with your partner because that's what a partnership is.
Here's some unsolicited advice to somebody who's been married for 25 years.
Keep dating each other.
No, I mean, sure, yes.
Well, I've heard that one a lot.
That is sure, but my honest people will say to, you know, me, like, wow, you guys have been married since you were 18. That's crazy. You guys beat the odds. Yeah, we did beat the odds. You want to know why? We beat the odds because we're best friends. I actually genuinely am best friends with my husband.
Well, my thought is you don't just, in my opinion, you don't just throw in the towel when things get tough.
Well, no, you try work to fight hard, but
there's things that I won't forgive, but
no, but the thing is, when you have somebody that you think of as more than just your husband, when I look at my husband, I think of him as he's my best friend. I don't do girls trips because I want my husband to come. I don't go on vacations by myself because I want my husband to come because he is my best friend.
When I go to you and Dad and I say, hey, who's your best friend? You guys say each other.
Absolutely.
Shit, even Grandma and Papa.
Yep.
When I ask them, I'm like, who's your best friends? Now, especially, that they're both retired, they say each other.
Yes, and that's how it should be. And I think that's why that when people
I still have my best friend, but like
my best friend is literally I don't have a best friend. My best friend is my husband.
Sorry, Becky.
If I had to choose to only hang out with one person for the rest of my life, I'm picking my husband.
Right.
If you don't feel that way about your spouse, that's probably a problem. That's how it should be. There's a lot of people out there that are like, let's go do girls trips. Let's go. And it's like, I don't want to. I want to hang out with my husband. That's because
I'll
he's
do
my
a
best
girls
friend.
trip, but I'm probably going to miss my partner the whole time.
I won't even go. Like if Sierra were to look at me and be like, Mom, let's do a mother-daughter trip to Disneyland. I'd be like, nah, your dad's got to come.
Fuck no. If I said Disneyland and you didn't have to pay for anything, you'd probably be like, I love you.
No, I would take, nope. Your dad's got to come. I want to be, he's my lifetime ride partner anyways. I can't go there without him. I mean, obviously. I mean, if something
it's also
happened,
the one that pays for everything.
That's true too. But we don't need to talk about that. Anyways.
Apparently this podcast is going to be talking about real life. Marriage counseling.
Marriage counseling is finest. Anyways. So yes. So there's some issues in their marriage basically. And the two do end up getting a divorce, which also good on you, Sylvia, because you don't need that kind of negativity in your fucking life. So during the proceedings, the court actually orders that Bruce is going to be paying about a little over $1,700 a month in spousal support. Unfortunately, Bruce recently had been fired from his job for billing false hours, so the courts had to put a pause on those spousal payments. And it was reported that Bruce actually told a friend, quote, his wife was taking him to the cleaners, meaning that his wife was trying to take him for everything that he had, getting divorced. Listen, guy, you were shitty, so yeah, of course. Now, even though they paused the monthly payments for part of their divorce settlement. There was some other things that were required. One, he was going to be required to pay $10,000. Sylvia was allowed to keep her wedding ring, which my guess would be maybe it was worth a little bit of money.
I'll say I'm hoping she
pawned it. And then she also was allowed to keep the family dog.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
That'd be me. I'd be like,
Yep.
bitch, you don't get the dog.
Yep.
Hence Olive.
Yep. Now, Bruce ended up complaining to the courts about this arrangement. And he says, Sylvia is not only is she living with her parents, she's not paying rent. She spends a large...
Hey, Bruce, chill the fuck out,
right?
bro.
She spends a large amount of money on luxury cars. She has gambling trips to Vegas.
This all sounds like me, but the gambling
She
trips.
eats meals at expensive restaurants. She gets massages and golf lessons. And I don't want to have to pay for all that. Listen, Bruce.
Don't be a piece of shit.
You also were a shit husband.
Just throwing that out there.
You controlled the finances and she didn't like it. Okay. Next, this is part of the fuck around, find out. You decided that you were going to be a shitty husband and she said, I'm not taking that bullshit. She took you to the cleaners and you know what? Good on her. Because I know if I ever got divorced, I'd be taking my husband for everything he's got too.
The cleaners?
That's what he said. That's what he told. He actually said that. Meaning she's wiping him out. That's like a saying.
I was like,
that's a saying.
like, Mom, did you mean like
she's
the
like,
lawyer?
What's he cleaning? What's she cleaning? So anyways.
I mean, I kind of assumed that's what it was, but I was like.
Yes, taking him to the cleaners. So 1 week before Christmas, the divorce is actually finalized. So it's finalized on December 18th of 2008. So that's Bruce. Now we're going to talk about Sylvia Ortega Pardo. So she's 43. She was 43 and she's Bruce's ex-wife. She was and yes, you're hearing me right. I'm using past tenses. So we're talking about the victims now. So she was a loving mother. She was a caring daughter. She was a supportive person all around. She was also described as kind-hearted and generous. Then there was Joseph, who is 80, and Alicia Ortega, who is 70. Now,
I can only assume her parents.
Joseph and Alicia are the father and mother of the Ortega family. They were the matriarch of the family, and they had created a very close-knit family. I'm not going to lie. I kind of have a lump in my throat as I talk about this because it makes me sad. So I'm not going to tear up, but it makes me feel a certain type of way. And I think, Sierra, you'll understand because these people, they're like us, but they had a much bigger family than us. But you'll understand.
Us, like you guys and me?
Yeah, like our family. They created...
cut out my brother. You're chopped liver, bro.
They created a very close-knit family. They loved the holidays. And they loved the traditions that they held. And they would always get together. They would always get together on Christmas Eve, especially. They would play games. They would just laugh and have a good time. Now, Joseph was actually known as a very wise man. And he would give a lot of advice to people. And he was considered very funny by his family. And Alicia was described as the glue that held the family together. See what I'm saying? Tell me that Alicia and Joseph aren't like your dad and I, right? Mm-hmm. Like it hurts my fucking heart. Like honest to God, it hurts my heart. However, Alicia was loving, spirited, and very nurturing. That is not me.
Now that's the opposite.
I'm loving. I love my
not
family.
Nurturing.
I'm not nurturing at all.
No, we always said how growing up, I'm not joking when I say you guys, since birth.
Yep.
My dad was the mama bear. My dad had still has the maternal instincts in him. Yep. My mom's the dude. My mom doesn't have the maternal instincts.
However, you touch my children in any way, I'll fucking rip your throat out.
So you didn't do that when the girl punched me in the face at softball.
Well, she didn't mean to. I mean, it was an accident.
That was an uppercut.
It wasn't. It was a
fucking
no.
uppercut.
I watched the play.
Under the helmet.
Yep, it went under the helmet. It wasn't on purpose. But I'm saying, like, if somebody were to fuck with my children, or any of my family members for that matter, yeah, I'll fucking go to jail.
Fuck around and find out.
Period. Like I don't give a damn. No fucks. Okay. So, anyways, back to the Ortega family. So that's Joseph and Alicia. Then there's Charles, who's 49, and Sherry, who's 45. Charles and Sherry Ortega. Now, Charles is Sylvia's brother, and Charles was a father, a husband. He worked really hard for his family. And Sherry, his wife, was outgoing, and she lit up any room that she entered. Then there's James and Teresa Ortega. James was 52 and Teresa was 51. James, they actually called him Jimmy.
Jimmy.
He is Sylvia's brother. He was kind-hearted. He always put his loved ones first. He took care of people. And then Teresa, his wife, was compassionate, and she always supported family members regardless of what they were doing. Then there's Alicia Ortiz. She was 46. Now they nicknamed her Alice, and she was one of Sylvia's sisters. She was also very hardworking, very compassionate, and she had a very close relationship with her family. And then there's Michael Ortiz, who is 17. And he is one of the youngest victims of this massacre. He was a high school student. He had a very bright future ahead of him. It was all snatched away, and he was described by classmates as just a really awesome
by bitchy
guy.
Bruce.
Yeah. So on December 24th of 2008, the Ortega family is celebrating Christmas Eve as per usual, hanging out, playing games, doing the damn thing. A little after 11:30 p.m., and this is we stay out. We're always up super late. A little after 11:30 p.m., 911 dispatch receives a call. They start receiving multiple calls, but they receive a call, and it's from some neighbors that live close to Joseph and Alicia's home. Now, one neighbor called and is screaming, "Come immediately! They're burning someone's house down. Like, you need to get here now." So police end up dispatching to the area. And they continue to get phone calls. As they're driving, they keep getting the 911 dispatch operators telling them things. So some of the things that have been claimed is that people are saying shots are fired at this house, the house is burning, it's exploding, like all these things. So they get to the home, and it is a fire. There's screaming. It's completely chaos. As a matter of fact, one of the responders actually described it as apocalyptic.
Damn.
Yeah, like it was
for one house.
Now, fire department shows up, they start putting out the fire. They're waiting to figure out what the fuck's going on. This house is engulfed in flames. Actually, if you see the picture, if you ever look it up, actually, I think the picture that you're going to be looking at, if you're looking at anything other than Apple Podcast, if you're listening to us, there should be a picture. And it's going to be the house. It's like the garage area. It's like exploded. Like, it's crazy. So it's described as an apocalyptic, chaotic scene. Fire is put out, and they find a very horrific scene. They find 9 members of the Ortega family dead inside the home, and 3 victims injured. So at around 11:30 p.m., this is what happens. Again, the family is enjoying their Christmas Eve, and someone knocks on the Ortega's door. 8-year-old Katrina, which she is the daughter of Leticia Ortega, she runs to the door to open it. And she's actually really fucking excited when she opens the door, because who she sees on the other side, she's like, hell yeah, it's Santa Claus. And she says, Santa Claus. And she's very excited. Within seconds of opening the door, Katrina is shot in the face by Santa. Now, Bruce Pardo has dressed up as Santa Claus and knocked on their fucking door. Now, he rented a car, showed up at the Ortega's home, which is his ex-in-law's homes. With him, he had multiple 9mm Sid Sauer handguns. He had also a large gift-wrapped package with him. This gift-wrapped package happened to hold a rolling air compressor that had been converted to spray fuel. Okay, this is what he brings to this home. So after shooting Katrina, who, by the way, she does survive. I want to make that. I want to make it clear. Yeah.
Go Katrina.
Yeah.
God damn.
8-year-old Katrina actually ends up surviving this shooting. However, surviving the trauma is
always
never going
better.
to fucking go away.
There's people out there that say, depending on like what the scenario and what the case was, sometimes dying is the better option.
Well, you think about in this scenario, survivor's guilt.
Mm-hmm.
And also being a 9-year-old who was so excited to see Santa getting shot in the face. You're fucking, your life is never going to, nothing's going to ever be the same.
Christmas alone will never be the same for you.
No. So anyway, so after shooting Katrina in the face, obviously the whole entire family is like, what the fuck? Like they heard it, right? So they're already like panicking. Bruce decides, I'm just going to start shooting any which way that I can. So he literally just starts walking in the room, like shooting people. And then once he's done using his guns that he brought, he unwraps his package that he brought in the door with him. And he then begins to spray fuel all around the house. Now, the belief was that he was going to spray fuel around the home and then light the fuel with a flare that he had on him and then leave the home and let it burn with all these people in it. Mm-hmm. However, the fuel made contact with an already open flame, because, I mean, they probably had candles lit, and fucking created an explosion in the house. So between the gunshots and the explosion, 3 people were injured, 9 people died. Now, one of the survivors, one of the people who survived, did make it out of the house when the shots started and ran to a neighbor's house to call 911. The police are called. She's basically able to identify Bruce as the perpetrator. This survivor is actually Leticia Ortega, who is Sylvia's sister and Alice and Joseph's daughter, one of the main family members. She gets out. Her husband gets out. Her 8-year-old daughter, who was shot in the face, gets out. Okay. So she is over at a neighbor's house. Now she's able to tell them that it is Bruce Ortega, but he's dressed up as Santa. And why is she able to say that? Because it is reported that after Bruce gets into the house after shooting Katrina, he starts shooting. The two brothers, James and Charles, both get shot, but get up, bloody as fuck, dying, trying to fight. And they're able to rip off his Santa shit, like his probably
to show who he is.
Yes, they're able
probably
to
like
rip
the
off
beard
his
and
yes,
shit at least.
And one of them actually rips it off and said it's Bruce. So that's how they knew who it was.
Well, because at that point, it's literally that fight or flight instinct of, do I just fight like hell and try to make sure that this person doesn't get to the rest of my family?
Exactly.
And possibly saying, at least saying the name, like if there's somebody that does survive, like if they hear it, then they know who the fuck to
exactly
pin it on.
So Bruce, then they found he had actually created a pretty unique escape plan. Now, this plan was that he included renting multiple vehicles that he had parked in different areas. So he had rented a vehicle, drove to the house. Then the plan was to leave in that rented vehicle and go to this other rented vehicle.
Basically swap cars so they can't track him. Yep.
Now, they found the other rented vehicle. Now, in that vehicle, it looked like he was planning on potentially fleeing to Mexico or to like do some shit down south, because there were tons of maps of Mexico and the southwest part of the country. I mean, of the southwest part of the continent, I guess. I don't even think it was the United States. I think it was Mexico and South. Like, he had a ton of those maps. They had found he had food and water and clothing. All these supplies were in this vehicle, right? They found this vehicle near Sylvia's divorce lawyer's house. And they actually think that he was going
to go for the divorce.
So they actually think that he was going to drive that rental car to the divorce lawyer's home, go in and kill the divorce lawyer, then get in this other rental car and flee.
That makes sense.
Right? But they also found something interesting. They also had found that there were there were tickets that were purchased to Iowa also for Christmas morning, like plane tickets. So there is a chance that maybe he was going to go to Iowa and then come back. I'm not sure.
Maybe he had a couple plans in his head and just
was trying to figure out what he's going to do.
Which one was going to be best.
They also found that he was carrying cash. He had like a ton of cash, like thousands and thousands of dollars of cash strapped to his body, like taped onto his body. So he was clearly planning on fleeing, right? However, none of that happened because the explosion gave him really terrible 3rd-degree burns on his arms and legs, which also...
Karma's a bitch.
Sorry. So he leaves the home. He does get out of the explosion alive. He goes into the rental car. He changes out of the Santa suit and drives to his brother's house instead. So he doesn't even... He like ditches his whole plan. They find... His brother is not home when he gets there. His brother comes home and finds him dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the mouth at 3:00 in the morning and calls it in. And so the thought process was that he had the 3rd-degree burns and there was he wasn't going to the hospital for it.
Right.
So he had no choice but to kill himself at that point. So the medical examiner did do an autopsy and did find that cocaine was in his system at the time of his death. And they assume, based off how much was in there, that it was in his system when he did this attack. Which, by the way, not an excuse. I don't give a damn flying shit. So they do find Bruce's rental car parked like a block away from his brother's home. So now they're working backwards now, right? Because they didn't realize that, or they didn't know that Bruce was at his brother's home until they get the call to 911 that Bruce's brother found him dead in his home. So at 3:00 in the morning, they go to Bruce's brother's home, find out who Bruce is, put together that Bruce Pardo's the same guy that they're looking for. They go and they look for his car. They find his rental car. It's about a block away from his brother's house. And inside, they actually find the suits, the Santa suit that he had used, and it was partially burned. They also discover, as they're looking at the Santa suit, that the Santa suit is booby-trapped into the car. So basically, once the Santa suit is to be removed, it would trigger a fire, and it would set off 200 rounds of ammunition in the car. Okay. Now, they do actually, the car does explode. But nobody gets hurt because they kind of figured it out. And I think they were able to get like bomb squad people in to like take care of it. Now at Bruce's home. So now they go to Bruce's home because they're like, okay, let's go search his home. They find 5 empty boxes of semi-automatic handguns, ammo. They find 2 shotguns. They find a container of high-octane fuel, gasoline. They also find what was described as a virtual bomb-making factory in his home.
What the fuck?
Now, police don't actually know what the motivation of the massacre was. They have no idea. But the belief is that this was related to his divorce because he did this a week after divorce papers were signed and he was pissed that he was getting divorced. One reporter actually had said that, and I quote, "This divorce shattered Bruce Pardo. Pause. Of course it fucking did. You also were a narcissistic person. You didn't deserve to be married. Full stop. Full stop. This divorce shattered Bruce Pardo. It became his obsession, and Bruce began to plot ways to get back at Sylvia. I think that he decided that he was just going to kill her. He wasn't just going to kill her, but he was going to kill everything she loved and take it, wipe it off the face of the earth." Which that is kind of what it sounded like. Because he waited until the day he knew that the whole entire family would be together.
Right.
And then he dresses up as Santa Claus so that nobody doesn't let him in the house and starts killing people.
But also, I'm going to tell you right fucking now, we do Christmas Eve like that.
We do.
If a motherfucker comes in at the door dressed as Santa, I'm fucking shutting that door because I know damn well
right now,
not a single one of us motherfuckers has ever in the 25 years that I have been alive, none of us have dressed up as Santa, and I'd be weirded out as fuck as why there'd be a Santa at our door.
Honestly, there is a part of me that's like,
I wouldn't answer it.
Okay, well, let me backtrack. This is not to blame the victims.
No.
This is an 8-year-old little girl who opened the door because this is a family that gets together all the time. They were excited. She sees Santa. What are you going to do? But Sierra's right. I don't open my door to people I don't know. And if Santa is standing out on my door on my door, I'm not answering it. And I said, first of all, I'm not answering the door. If I don't know you, I'm going to get on my little Ring camera and be like, can I, if you don't get off my property, I'm going to be like, can I help you? And if you say to me, oh, can I use your phone because I'm having car trouble? First question out of my mouth is, do you not have a cell phone? That's my first question. Second idea is, no, I will not open my door, but I'll gladly call you a tow truck or give me a phone number of somebody I can call and you can sit your ass on my stairs. I'm not answering the door. And if you're somebody who comes to my house and says that somebody's chasing you, you're more than welcome to sit on the side of my house behind my fence while I call the police, but I'm not opening my door to you. I will never open my door. And that is why. Because I do enough true crime to know that I do not fucking answer the door to people I don't know. But again, this is also a different time. 2008, you said it yourself. 2008 is not exactly yesterday. And our world is so different now than it was in 2008, than it was in 1980. Like, that's how it is. So in this scenario, he shows up and destroys a whole entire family because he knew he could. And what grosses me out the most about it is the fact that he used Santa Claus to do it, because any person that would have opened that door, whether it was 8-year-old Katrina or 80-year-old Joseph, they would have been like, oh, Santa, thinking that it's somebody who's being friendly. This was like the fucking clown. Remember the clown one we did where the girl showed up in the clown and killed the lady? Like, when you disguise yourself, especially on Christmas Eve as Santa, like they used to do in our neighborhood where they would have the fire trucks come through and Santa, you could go sit on, you go talk to Santa. You don't remember that?
Not
Oh my
even, not
God.
even a fucking little bit.
Are you kidding me?
Dude,
was
I literally was about to look at you and be like, "You're bullshitting. That's never happened." I fucking swear to God.
Are you kidding?
I'm dead. That memory, quite literally, not
What?
even a sliver is in my brain.
Okay, first of all, they did it in this neighborhood like twice when we first moved here. Second of all, they did it in Oregon when we lived in Oregon as well, in the neighborhoods, and we would go, and they would. Santa would be on the back of a fire truck, and he would stop in areas like an ice cream truck, and then kids would go in, and you'd go and talk to him, and he'd give you a candy cane. They don't really do that anymore, but like that was a thing.
No, I think that's your childhood.
No, it was not.
I'm telling
I
you
swear
right now,
to God,
that's not
ask your dad when we get. I swear to God,
I'm going to, because I don't remember that.
Oh my
at
God.
all.
Well, but my point is that would have been like in the early 2000s. That was a thing, right? So that part fucking pisses me off a lot, is the fact that he utilized that. He literally broke down anybody's defenses because it's Christmas Eve and you're Santa. So there's that. It is believed that he killed himself because of the 3rd-degree burns that he had, because his neighbor, one of his neighbors, actually just said, at the time, his neighbor, after all this is said and done, so they were interviewing, and his neighbor said, "I still wonder if the suit had not lit, like gotten on, because his suit caught on fire, which is how he got the 3rd-degree burns. If the suit had not lit, how the story would have ended. It may have been a much different ending." I agree. I think if his suit would not have lit on fire, he would have gone and tried to kill the attorney. And I actually think he would have gotten, I don't know if he would have gotten completely away with it, but I think he would have gotten pretty far before anybody figured out who he was, where he was, or what happened. Now, Letitia, the youngest sibling, she was the youngest sibling. She was their sole survivor of the immediate family. So her mom, her dad, her brothers, and her sister all died, and she was the only one that survived. Obviously, her immediate family, her husband and daughter survived, and like cousins and stuff survived, but the actual family member, like her brothers and sisters and parents, all died. She was the only one that survived. So she is now the matriarch of the family, right? Not that she wanted to be, but this is what happens. She says, and I quote, "I can't do anything to change what happened. I can only focus on the future. This is what he has done. Enough. I'm not going to allow you to continue to consume us with your evilness. You don't want that anger to live within you day to day and grow just like it did with this monster." So the thing that Letitia has done, even though it was really hard, because I did read this whole thing, like this whole interview about her and with her, she took over the matriarch role. She continues to celebrate Christmas. It's never the same. And she said it's never going to be the same, but she's not going to let him win. She has learned how to make family recipes that her mom used to make. And she has started to help heal her family by having those Christmases that they all once had that were completely destroyed by Bruce Pardo. And I commend her so fucking much because, like I said, even though nobody ever knows what goes on in people's homes, when I read the story about the Ortega family, I genuinely was like, wow, this could be my family. We don't have, 9 people right now, but I mean, this could have been my family when my whole entire family, we've all kind of moved to different areas now, but just even like 8-10 years ago, we used to always get together on Christmas Eve, and we would have 15-20 people at my parents' house. We always congregated at my parents' house for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and we were always together laughing. We're a loud family, just having a good time. And I genuinely sit there and I think about what if, I can relate to that, because my family, I'm close to my family. Sierra, myself, my husband, and my son, we are a very close family. Could you imagine what it would be like to be celebrating one of your most favorite times of year and have your whole family taken away from you by one stupid, selfish person? Like, I I commend Letitia for being able to basically move on and heal in a way that I don't know how people do it, obviously through some therapeutic means, but yeah. So she has basically taken on the role, and they continue to do the things they need to do, and Their Christmases are always going to be different, but she's not letting Bruce ruin their life. And I think that's the win. That's the best thing you can do, is to walk away from this and be like, you didn't destroy us. You still lost because you tried and you were not successful. So anyways, that is the Covina Massacre. And I'm not going to lie, I genuinely didn't really want to do this one because it hurts my heart so much that I did not want to do it. And I typically don't do the ones.
I'm more pissed off of the outcome.
I am too. It's not a happy.
I'm like, well, I mean, obviously I'm sad that the family
that he
died
killed
and everything,
himself.
But I was going to say,
I agree.
don't get me wrong. Obviously murder's bad, blah, blah, get that. But it's when things like this happen, when murders like this happen or rapes or whatever it is that happens, when the outcome is that they die, I'm going to be honest. I'm pro death penalty, but even in some cases when they get the death penalty, sometimes I'm just like, that's the fucking bitch way out, because you don't get to live the rest of your life in potential guilt.
Yeah.
And granted, there's some people out there though, like I know we've talked about it with serial killers, like not this podcast, but Fatal Blend and just you and I talking. There are some even serial killers out there where it's like, no, they will never have remorse. They don't have remorse. And for them, like, it wouldn't bother them if they live the rest of their life or not. Now, and there's also ones that aren't afraid to die who get the death penalty. So those ones are shitty. But for the people, but then on the flip side, for the people who are scared to die and get the death penalty, then I'm like, yeah, fuck you. You get what you deserve.
So but in this
case, nope.
With Bruce, the thing that bothers me about Bruce is that he took the coward's way out. Because
and I wonder if he would have not killed himself, and if he would have gotten caught and gone, to prison. I know there's drugs in the prison, but like without having cocaine and shit like that, like would he have then turned his brain to a guilt brain?
No, I don't think so. And to be honest with you, there is that big part of me that I think that the reason don't get it twisted. I do not think he killed himself because he felt guilty. I think he killed himself because he thought he was going to get caught because he couldn't survive. I mean, 3rd degree burns are horrific. You have to go to a doctor's. You have to go to a hospital to get them treated. And it's painful, right? So he had a choice. His choice was to either
He might have killed himself just because of the pain too.
Well, and that's what I'm saying is he had a choice to either go to the hospital and get treated, or and when he did that, he would have been literally turned in and gone to jail, or kill himself. Those are literally his options, and he chose killing himself. That tells me that he didn't want to get caught, and he was afraid to get caught, and he probably was in a lot of pain, and he was like, "Fuck it, I'm just done." And that, for his family. I also want to say that for his family, his brother, how terrible. That's really awful, because he also fucked you over because he did this shit in your home. He went to your house and killed himself in your home when he could have just not done that.
Right.
Right. So it's like, those are the things that it's like, he didn't just affect the Ortega family. He affected his own fucking family by being selfish. So it's like he ruined a lot of people's lives that day. And so it's just like, he probably wasn't in necessarily the right frame of mind, and I'm sure that his family is probably very much protective of him, and that's fine because it's your family member, and you can feel that way.
I just don't know if I could though.
I couldn't personally.
I love my brother.
I could no.
I love him.
Don't get it ever twisted. I have zero tolerance for bullshit. I've always, Sierra knows this. That's how she's lived her life. I am not a sugarcoater.
No, the fuck she's not.
I literally tell it like it is. And if you do something that pisses me off to a point where I am done, I will cut you off so fucking fast. And I don't give a shit if you're my family member or not. I don't care. If you do something that makes me so angry and I feel strongly that you did something wrong, and if you do not feel any sort of remorse, you're dead to me. Literally. It's kind of crazy and scary. Sometimes I think I might be, honestly, a sociopath because I'm like, how do I just cut? Literally can cut people off.
If you have the tendency of wanting to kill somebody, just let me know and I'll just lock you up.
I don't, but I'm just saying, in my brain, I can turn my switch of giving a fuck about you off real fast. And it's really, really strange. But I know that's why for me, I'm like, I know that even though I love my kids, I love my husband, but if any one of them did something like this, you would be out of sight, out of mind, dead to me. I'd never talk to you again. And I would move on with my life.
I did ask my mom the other day. I said, hey, if I killed somebody, I didn't, by the way, government, I didn't kill anybody.
Just listen to just hear my answers and you'll understand.
But I had said, I go, hey, like, randomly, because I think I saw it on TikTok where like people were interviewing moms and they're like, would you kill for your kid? What would you do if your kid killed somebody? Blah, blah.
I'll tell you right now, would I kill for my kid? Yeah.
See, and so many people are like, no, that's so bad.
I would kill for my kid. It depends on the scenario. Like, I'm not going to kill somebody because my kid had an argument with somebody. But I would absolutely.
Mom, she broke my finger.
Yeah, like I would never kill somebody for that. But if somebody went after my child in a way that was trying to kill them or harm them in a way that would destroy them, absolutely.
Well, not to scare you, but like me being single in the dating scene.
Absolutely.
Anyways,
absolutely.
But I had said to her, I go, hey, like if I were to kill somebody, like would you basically like would you be on my side? Like would you back me up?
She said, you got my back, Mom?
Yeah, you got my back? And she goes, well, was it justified? And I go, yeah, like if it's justified, yeah. And she goes, well then yeah, but if it's not justified, then no.
Yep. I literally said, well, why did we kill somebody? And she was like, well, it was justified.
I'm like, I don't have a reason
like,
right now.
Like
but
maybe like
justified.
Self-defense type thing. And I looked at her.
Yeah, like I'm getting beat to shit and I said, somebody.
I said, I'll be there with the shovels and we'll figure it out. That's what I said.
She's like, we've done enough true crime that we know.
And then I said, I've got a whole plan. Don't worry. And I will not share it with y'all. I will not share it with y'all, but I do have a plan.
The government's going to be like, these crime bitches, we're going to have to really fucking pay attention to these assholes.
I definitely have a plan if I ever need one. I'm not going to fucking lie. But I then also followed it up with, but if
because we've also learned. We've learned from other serial killers. We've learned from other murderers.
Yep.
We've learned from your mistakes.
And because we're not crazy, I mean, in our minds,
maybe a little bit.
In our minds, because we're not crazy, we can like logically figure this shit out. Like for real.
Yeah.
But I did follow it up with though is if you killed somebody because you did something stupid, no, I'll turn you in. That's what I told her. Because I will. I don't want, but I also will make it very clear and say that if either of anybody in my family, if they ever turned out to be a murderer for whatever reason, I also would not want them to die by death penalty. I would not because I'm very mixed on the death penalty. Actually, I'm not mixed. I used to be very pro death penalty. As I've gotten older, the more that I learn things and whatever, it doesn't make sense to me. The death penalty does not make sense to me because and Sierra can attest to this because she is my child. I cannot stand when somebody says, don't do this and then does it. Like I like you look at somebody and say, hey, don't steal that car, but then you go and steal the car. I don't like hypocrites. That's one of my biggest pet peeves is hypocritical people. And the death penalty is hypocritical as fuck because the death penalty says we are killing you.
Well, it's not consistent.
Well, it's not. No.
It's per fucking state.
No, but what I'm saying though is when you have the death penalty, you give the death penalty to somebody as a punishment. And your reasoning is you murdered somebody, so we are going to murder you. That does not make sense. If you think murder is wrong, then the death penalty should fucking be wrong.
I'll be honest though. Anybody that does anything to a kid, I fucking hope you die.
You know, sure,
or get fucking
sure. I can understand that, but I'm saying that's why the only reason I get mad about the death penalty is when you give the death penalty as a sentence and then you don't follow through with it. Because again, that's some bullshit.
How many people are waiting to die?
That's what I'm saying. Like if you're gonna, that's called an empty fucking threat. That's like you're threatening to spank your child and you never fucking do it. That's stupid too.
Yeah, it's really traumatic.
If you're not, what the fuck ever. I've never. One time, and I didn't
whacked on the ass,
but I didn't even threaten. I did it. That's the thing is, I did it, and then Sierra made me feel like a terrible fucking person.
Never.
And I always joke
around with my brother. He'd be like, "Oh, Mom, you always you would spank us, blah blah." And I'm like, "Correction,
I never spanked.
I got spanked.
Yep.
You didn't get a swat on the ass."
I'll be honest with you.
That's because Sierra was. I
spanked my daughter one time. And that was literally when she was 3 years old. And I had said,
to be fair, it was justified.
I said, do not go in that bedroom because her brother was a baby and he would not sleep.
He's 3 years younger than me.
And he would not sleep for the life of him. So when he would go down for naps or whatever, it was at night though. He was already asleep for the night and she was not ready for bed yet. And so I said, do not go in that room until it's bedtime because they shared a room. She said, okay. She was 3. Literally not even 10 minutes later, she went into the bedroom, turned on the lights, started playing toys and woke her brother up. And I had just gotten him to sleep. And I said, I told you not to go in here. And she goes, but I wanted to. I grabbed her and I spanked her one time.
One time too many.
Swatted her on her butt, and she curled up in the tiniest ball with her blanket like I just beat the shit out of her. And I said, I'm sorry. And I hugged her, and I started crying, and I said, I will never spank you again. She made me feel so bad. And I never did. I never, ever, ever in my entire life.
Then she just turned to using words.
Sierra is 25 years old. My son is 22. And I've never spanked those kids, but I'll tell you what, my son is scared as fuck of me.
Just so funny because I'm not.
I'm
more scared of dad
and
than
it's
I am
not
you.
Yeah, but the thing with you is you've done exactly what I hoped for.
But the other thing is it's different, right? Because like I feel like he's probably, I don't know what he's scared of because I'm not in his brain, but I know like my biggest fear is disappointing you guys as your child.
I was just gonna say the thing that I want everybody to hear this as a parent. My biggest goal in life was to make sure my kids became successful.
I'm still working on that, bro.
No. Success is different for everybody. I'm talking about successful, well-functioning citizens and human beings. Okay? I achieved that goal. My kids are fantastic. However, my other thing is I want my kids to be so scared of disappointing me that they keep their shit straight. And that's exactly what it is. Because if you don't want to disappoint, because I don't want to disappoint my parents either. If you don't want to disappoint your family,
Exhibit A,
you're going to try harder. You're going to try to be the best version of yourself, which is all I've ever asked, right? And so your brother told me, he said, I'm not like scared of you. He's like, I just don't want the wrath of you. That's what he says.
Listen, I'm not scared.
And he's 22 years old.
Listen, you guys would shit your pants if you heard this, but when I first moved back from college, I was so used to living on my own that when I came home, quite literally, you guys would probably laugh because you hear how her and I talk now. We would get into such bad arguments that at one point we talked about physically fist fighting each other, and my mom looked at my dad and was like, you better get your daughter before I fucking fight her. And I was in the living room sitting on a couch and I go, come here.
Actually, I said,
some shit
we
like
were
that.
at the table and I said, you better come get in between me and your daughter before I get up and fucking punch her in the face. But
then I clapped back with some attitude of
you
like,
looked
go
at
ahead.
me and you're like, I'm an adult. Like, are you really going to talk to me that way? You don't get to talk to me that way. And I looked at her and said, you're living in my fucking house for free. I can talk to you how the fuck I want to. And it was just because she was...
That was so like 5 years ago.
It was. And the thing is, she had lived on her own in college. Okay. So, that's part of it. But, when you come home from college and you lived on your own, but you didn't actually live on your own because your parents paid for your whole entire lifestyle, you still got to have a little bit of respect there. And she had lost that respect for just a little bit. She's fine. It's good. We're all good. We laugh about it now. I mean, we joke and we have a good time and everything's fine. So you go through your bumps and your ups and downs with your kids as everybody does. But like I said.
But guess what? You don't fucking kill them.
You don't. And you protect them with everything, which is what we do. That's what I do. And that's why when people always like, oh, you have motherly instincts. No, I don't. But I definitely have killer instincts. No, I'm just kidding.
But we're going to, this episode's, you're going to have to say this episode is an episode of true crime / real life advice.
This is your daily dose of therapy by Sierra and Treva. Okay. Anyways, that is enough.
Just keep going on.
Okay, that's enough of life advice from us. Take it for what you will.
I'm
gonna really pause right here and say nothing that we have said is factual. I mean, the story is factual. I'm talking about our personal opinions are not to be taken as fact, and also it's all for fun.
They're opinions, and technically, at the end of the day, you as listeners also have a right to your opinion. So if you don't agree with our opinions, that's totally fine.
Cool. And
it's a fucking opinion.
And what do we say? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. So with that.
Dude, she probably practiced that shit for like 8 hours yesterday in the mirror.
It's from a song. What are you talking about? It's from Salt and Pepper. They say opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. I didn't make that up. That's a real thing. Other than that, thank you very much for listening to us. And please follow us on all the socials. If you are not, feel free to DM us or message us or email us if you want to talk to us or give us some suggestions or if you just want to chit chat. All the good things. Other than that, thank you so much for listening one more time. And until next week, catch you on the flip side, bitches.
Bye, bitches.